am not married to Jim Jones. Listen, let me tell you guys something. This is the craziest viral that I've ever been in my whole entire life, because I like wake up one day, you know, I do my whole routine, read my devotionals and positive stuff, and then I go on my Instagram and I see like fake pages like, you know, you took Jim, and I'm like, I didn't block the page. I said, who is Jim? Because the bitch is single, so I'm like, who is Jim? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what the hell is going on? And they just responded back with like laughing faces. I didn't think anything of it. I have been in my bag creating from my getting ready, relaunching my website, creating for my businesses, taking care of my personal business, my kids. Like, I'm so off the radar, you know, and sometimes you get to a point in your life where, well, this is where I have been for the last few weeks, where God just kind of sat me quiet, you know?
And a story of love and danger developed in the center of a busy city where ambition frequently concealed darker intents. A man of charm and authority, Jim Jones' name reverberated through the streets, yet underneath his captivating persona was a web of control and exploitation. A rising star in the fashion industry, Brook Bailey's career took off thanks to her striking appearance and unwavering dedication, getting her desired contracts and prominent runway performances, but her life changed when she met Jim. As their relationship grew, Brook became enchanted with Jim's lifestyle, which included introducing her to glitzy parties, exclusive events, and influential circles. She felt alive and excited by the attention and the opportunities, but she was initially captivated by his confidence and power and was drawn into a whirlwind romance that promised excitement and passion. As time passed, the glittering facade started to fade, exposing the darker realities beneath Jim's temper. His charm was captivating, but his erratic behavior quickly turned to jealousy and rage, leaving Brook feeling helpless and trapped. She frequently found herself defending his actions because she thought that love could solve all problems, but she secretly sensed a growing unease, a whisper that something was seriously amiss, and one fateful. That evening, Jim's son, a young man caught up in the chaos of his father's legacy, came into the picture. He had seen their family crisis, and while power had shaped his childhood, he had also seen its terrible effects on others. The son carried a weight of knowledge, and he was aware of the evil that lurked behind Jim's endearing smile. The son discovered her by herself following a particularly heated argument between Brook and Jim. His eyes were filled with a mixture of fear and resolve as he spoke in a quiet corner of a lavish event. "You need to leave him," he said, his voice shaking with urgency. "If you don't, he'll destroy your life. I've seen it happen before. He knows how to break people emotionally and mentally. He'll make you feel like you're nothing, bro." His words sent a chill down Brook's spine, making her heart race. His genuine gaze cut through her bluster, exposing the fragility of her circumstances. She had dismissed the dangerous whispers, believing she could handle Jim's erratic behavior. But now the seriousness of his son's warning hung over her like a threatening cloud, demanding her attention. Weeks passed while Brook struggled with her choice, and every second she spent with Jim felt more oppressive. The glitz and glamour she had previously enjoyed started to feel like chains tying her to a life she could no longer remember. Brook tried to convince herself that she could change Jim and that love would be sufficient to mend the rifts in their relationship. But the more she held onto that hope, the more she felt the walls closing in around her, and the son's warning reverberated relentlessly. The memories of Jim controlling her schedule, isolating her from friends, and manipulating her under the guise of love eroded her resolve. Brook reached her breaking point when she witnessed Jim enchant the room with his smile, captivating everyone around him. But when their eyes met, a chill went through her. She felt trapped between the man she believed she loved and the reality that was suffocating her. This was during a particularly extravagant party that was filled with laughter and clinking glasses. Taking a deep breath, Brook created a decision she would face the following day. She found Jim in his office, the atmosphere tense with unsaid words, and she began speaking tremblingly but resolutely. "I can't do this anymore. This isn't love, it's control." The confrontation was explosive. Jim was no longer ready to accept the shadows of threat that hung over her. When Jim realized she was serious, his anger flared, and he threw insults and threats in an attempt to get back in control of her. But Brooks kept her ground. As she left Jim and his world, a burden was lifted from her shoulders because she was now able to see the truth, strengthened by the information she had learned from his son in her own experiences. The power he possessed was a front, a mask that concealed his insecurities. Brook was ready to write her own story and was no longer a prisoner of someone else's plan. The threat had existed, but so had her determination once she found it. Newly discovered strength in the end, Brook's story became one of empowerment, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the strength to rise and break free lies within. Shadows may linger, but the light of self-discovery shines. She threw herself into her career, rekindling friendships and embracing the independence she had long abandoned. The journey was not without its challenges, but each step forward reinforced her belief that love should uplift rather than trap. More radiant, shedding light on the way to a future shaped by her own decisions in the center of a busy city where ambition frequently concealed more sinister motives, a story of romance and danger developed. A man of charm and authority, Jim Jones' name reverberated through the streets. Yet underneath his captivating persona was a web of control and exploitation. Rising fashion star Brook Bailey was renowned for her eye-catching appearance and unwavering commitment to her career. Removed obtaining her desired contracts and prominent runway appearances, but her life changed when she met Jim. She was first enthralled by his self-assurance and strength, and they were dragged into a fast-paced romance that promised passion and excitement as their bond grew. When Jim introduced Brook to glitzy parties, private gatherings, and powerful circles, she was enchanted by his way of life and felt alive and excited by the focus and the possibilities. But as time passed, the glittering facade started to fade, exposing the darker realities beneath Jim's temper, which was as erratic as his charm. Enthralling moments of affection would quickly turn to jealousy and rage, leaving Brook feeling helpless and trapped. She frequently found herself defending his actions because she thought that love could overcome everything, but she secretly sensed a growing unease, a whisper that something was terribly incorrect. After a particularly heated argument between Jim and his father, Jim's son entered the picture one fateful evening. He was a young man caught in the turmoil of his father's legacy, having witnessed the chaos of their family unfold and the devastating effects that power had on those around them. The son carried a burden of knowledge, and he understood the darkness that lurked behind Jim's charming smile after a particularly intense fight between Jim and Brook in a quiet corner of a lavish event. The son discovered her by herself. His voice wavered with urgency as he spoke, and his eyes were filled with a mixture of fear and resolve. "If you don't leave him, he'll destroy your life. I've seen it happen before. He knows how to break people emotionally and mentally, making them feel like they're nothing." His words sent a chill down Brook's spine, making her heart race. His genuine eyes were piercing through. She had dismissed the dangers, believing she could handle Jim's erratic behavior. But now the seriousness of his son's warning hung over her like a black cloud, demanding her attention. Her confidence betrayed the fragility of her circumstances. Days stretched into weeks as Brook struggled with her choice, and every second she spent with Jim felt more oppressive. The glitz and glamour she had previously enjoyed started to feel like chains tying her to a life she no longer wanted. Despite her internal conflict, Brook tried to convince herself that she could change Jim and that love would be sufficient to mend the rifts in their relationship. But the more she held onto that hope, the more she felt the walls closing in around her and the son's warning. Longer known memories flooded her mind, showing how Jim controlled her schedule, how he isolated her from friends, and the manipulation that passed for love. Repeatedly echoed a request for her to acknowledge the truth that she had long disregarded. Brook reached her breaking point at a particularly extravagant party where everyone was laughing and glasses were clinking. She watched Jim enchant the room with his smile, which captivated everyone. But when their eyes locked, she felt trapped between the man she believed she loved and the truth that was choking her.